The CSGO and Fortnite baby that you guys apparently disagreed with? Yeah, well, this game has some drama surrounding it, and let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about the new craze called Valorant, and we're going to be going over whether or not this game is safe for your computer, because a lot of people think that it may be dangerous, and we're going to be getting into that right in this video. Basically, the goal of this video is to explain everything in very simple terms. I know a lot of this can get really complicated, especially if you're not techie at all, but I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that you leave this video with some understanding about what's going on. Anyways, stay tuned. So the winner of our last shoutout was Rithwick Kothapalali Official. I hope you enjoyed my pronunciation. I tried very hard just for you. Anyways, thank you for being the winner of our last video. If you guys would like to win a shout out like him or her or whatever you are, make sure you guys find this icon somewhere throughout the video, and if you find it, make sure you comment the timestamp it pops up, and if you're first, you get a free shout out. So Valorant is a kind of weird game. It's free to play right now and it's in beta, and the only way you can get it is if you get randomly selected from this pool by watching Twitch streams of Valorant. It's a kind of interesting process, but basically once you install it, you also have to install Anti-Cheat, and that is kind of where everything gets sketch. The name of this Anti-Cheat is Vanguard, and you might hear a lot more about this in the future because it's a pretty big deal, especially if something goes wrong here. So just like any other competitive game like Fortnite, you have things called Anti-Cheat. The chances are you already have installed some Anti-Cheat software on your computer for a game if you're a PC player. So the Anti-Cheat software has a driver called the vjk.sys, and basically all a driver is something that you install that allows hardware to communicate to software. Basically, as soon as you turn your PC on, this driver starts up and starts running, but apparently it's not actually scanning anything until you run the game. But that is all up to Riot, and you have to trust them on that, which is kind of scary to think about. So the main problem is that this anti-cheat software runs at ring 0. Now you might be confused by that, but basically there are layers, and 0 is the closest to the kernel you can get, which gives you the most access to your computer, and that's basically all you need to understand. That ring 0 is something that you shouldn't allow a lot of programs to be at because that's where you're most vulnerable. And this is also why you have to restart your PC to finish installing Valorant, because that's the only way you can get something into ring 0. A lot of people call these rootkits, which are basically just a backdoor for hackers to get into. It's not necessarily dangerous itself, but it's a vulnerability that could be used against you. Now Riot is also owned by a Chinese company, and we know that the US is not a big fan of their stuff. Basically what's going on here is the same thing that was happening with TikTok, which is also owned by China. As you know, China and the US have very different views on the internet and what we should be allowed to see or not, and what should be censored and not. Which is exactly why Chinese applications are always scrutinized by the United States, because we believe in a thing called free speech. Alright, so let's see how Riot responded to all of this. Riot Arkham. Yes, we run a driver at system startup. It doesn't scan anything unless the game is running. It is designed to take up as few system resources as possible, and it does not communicate to our servers. You can remove it at any time. And basically all you have to do that is go to add or remove program and then click remove Vanguard. But doing this makes it so you cannot actually play Valorant because you have to have the anti-cheat software to play. Basically these two other paragraphs go over stuff that we've already talked about, but this fourth paragraph has some good information. We've tried to be very careful with the security of the driver. We've had multiple external security research teams review it for flaws. We do not want to accidentally decrease the security of the computer like other anti-cheat drivers have done in the past. Which is kind of ironic because doing this at ring 0 is exactly that. It's putting the gamer at a vulnerable spot. So basically this entire little Reddit post is them saying that they're not going to do anything malicious with this program or driver, and I believe them. But the problem is, like I was saying, it is a backdoor, and it is something that hackers could use to easily get into your system. So the bottom line, is Valorant dangerous? No, it is not. And is the anti-cheat software dangerous? No, it's also not. But the problem is it leaves you in a vulnerable spot where hackers can use that backdoor to get into that driver and then get into your kernel and cause mayhem on your computer and possibly steal valuable personal information. Now, I do not think Riot would do this, and I don't think that they would purposely give out your information, but you also have to keep in mind that big companies get hacked all the time. Just think of Sony as an example. It was a huge corporation and they got hacked and a lot of personal information was leaked. And the same thing could happen here except they're gonna get access to your PC at the kernel level. And that would just happen if there's a data leak or if Riot got hacked themselves. So what are my thoughts? I think that this should definitely be changed, but I see where they're coming from. It is a very competitive game, and that is what they're going for, and they don't want to deal with any cheaters at all, and they don't want any FaZe Jarvis type situations coming up. But the thing is, it's not the right way about going about this. It is still just a game, and please do not hurt me, Ninja. I know you're twitching right now just hearing me say that, but it is just a game. And they're putting their players in a vulnerable situation, and the anti-cheat isn't even that good. Apparently, people have already gone around it and started hacking on Valorant. So should you play Valorant? Well, it is completely up to you, and I know you probably hate hearing that, but it is truly up to you. One thing that I have been thinking about is you could always watch the streams to kind of get the key, but you don't have to install it yet. You might be able to wait a little to see if Valorant gets enough hate that they have to change this and maybe move the anti-cheat to a different program or something like that. It is also possible that they'll find a way to play this through a VM, which basically allows you to play this safely. It just kind of all depends with time, and if you're really interested in this game but you're not quite sure you want to install it yet, this may be a better route. But at the same time, during the making of this video, I'm literally installing Valorant as we speak. Hopefully I don't regret that decision, but I need some Valorant gameplay for this video, so that's why I'm installing it. But think about it all from this point. A lot of stuff you use every day has similar shady things going on. Basically every Google Dot out there, Alexas, there are so many things out there that are constantly collecting information on you, and so it's kind of hard to pick and choose what to avoid and not. This one may be on a greater scale though. Like TikTok is a huge app. You basically could find it on nearly anyone's phone besides government officials, because the United States government is not so fond of Chinese applications. But the point is, TikTok has been known to give out personal information, and most of you guys probably have it installed already. So pick and choose your battles and roll the dice, and hopefully you don't get hacked while playing this game. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure you drop a like down below. It is really helpful. And if you have any questions or just want to chat, make sure you go ahead and join our Discord server. And that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video.
I fill in my pocket with legal tender, cost me to be the winner. Fly out before I could see the winner, no more TV dinners. Wake up and roll me a wood in the morning, I heard it go good with the vitamin C. Baby, you don't need no friend for this evening, believe me, you better already.